anyone going to deny unanimous consent? Seeing none, Ms. Majority Leader.
I move the item.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask you to see item number 2 from the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer submitting a resolution of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven approving the voting proposals along with group for WPLR's annual Shamrock and Noel Run, Whitney Avenue, 5K on Sunday, March 6, 2022.
Is there anyone going to deny unanimous consent? Mr. Majority Leader.
Madam President, I request you to move this forward on that.
I'll take it under advisement. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask you to see item number 3 from the attorney for the New Haven Hospital certified medical medical area. Overall parking plan is required, the medical area overall parking plan in connection with the temporary expansion of its works.
Is there anyone going to deny unanimous consent? Seeing none, Ms. Majority Leader.
I move the item.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passed. And I would like to note for the record that Order from Ward 26 has joined us, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask unanimous consent item number 4 from the Health Director, City President, and all President, Mayor, City consent the OP map grant award from the United Department of Public Health for the period of February 1, 2022 to October 30, 2020.
Is there anyone going to deny unanimous consent? Seeing none, Ms. Majority Leader.
I move the item.
The item has been moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes, Ms. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask unanimous consent item number 5, order for orders concerning real property taxes on federal Warren Kimball on motor vehicle tax account 7002006. I ask you to see the item. Okay, I'm going to ask you to see items 5 through 13. 6, order from the Board of Alders concerning real property taxes federal green on motor vehicle tax accounts 70597 and 71084. 7, order from the Board of Alders concerning real property taxes are green junior motor vehicle tax account 729783. 8, order of the New Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of Pamela Linder motor vehicle tax account 916358. 9, order of the New Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of Portia Mary Williams motor vehicle tax account 98589. 10, order of the New Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of Seth P. Lafayette motor vehicle tax accounts 88370 7644 and 79148. Order of the Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of generally motor vehicle tax account 91617991618 897038933 773 and 91522. 12, order concerning real property, order of the New Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of Chicago Miller, motor vehicle tax account 64698966451 and 623233. And 13, order of the New Board of Alders concerning real property taxes of Tanya C. Spell, motor vehicle tax accounts 963455 and 99287.
Is there anyone going to deny unanimous consent on these items? Seeing none, Ms. Majority Leader.
I move these items.
Second.
The items have been moved in second. Discussion. I call on order for Ward 16.
Thank you, Madam President. These NICA constituents needed assistance with the interest. As this tax abatement committee chair, I would like to urge this body to reconsider and to allow for the waiving of these interests so that we can approve them to pay the taxes in full in the amount of $4,200. I urge yourself and the body to vote in favor. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes majority.
Thank you, Madam President. Under communications, I know items 14 through 23. Under first reading, I know items 24 through 31. Bringing us to second readings, I move item 32A. Finance favorable, ordinance amendment to the appropriate ordinance number 1, authorizing reclassification of positions. Processing clerk number 6 or number 760, and processing clerk bilingual number 790 to assistant registrar in the health department, vital statistics funds.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion, I call on order from Ward 25.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance Committee heard this request at the November 8th meeting. The committee determined that this change would improve service to residents of New Haven and also would not increase the budget for that department. The committee voted to recommend it to the full board of Alders favorably, and I ask that colleagues approve it. Thank you, Madam.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is the ordinance amendment. I will have order from Ward 12.
Saban,
Yes.
Douglas,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
E. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
C. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Lupo,
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
Festa,
Yes.
Haywood, Antunzi, yes. Carl Santana,
Yes.
Acosta, Santiago,
Yes.
Crespo,
Yes.
Ortiz,
Yes.
Nicola,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
Ariana Romano,
Yes.
Winter,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Walker Meyer,
Yes.
Hamilton, Marchand,
Yes.
Burkeen,
Yes.
Furlow,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Wingate,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes. Is there anyone who has a vote wishing to vote? Is there anyone who has a vote wishing to change their vote? Seeing none, item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under finance favorable, item number 32, passing over B and C. I move item 32 to Article 7 of the Charter and Section 2-190 of the Code of General Ordinances to the executive line item balances for the fiscal year ending 6/30.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion, I call on order from Ward 25.
Thank you, Madam President. This item is to transfer funds throughout the FY 21 budget so that all negative line items are in balance with the departmental budgets. The Finance Committee voted favorably to recommend this item to the full board. And I ask colleagues to approve this request as well. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is the ordinance amendment. I will have order from Ward 12.
Saban,
Yes.
Douglas,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
E. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
C. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Lupo,
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
Festa,
Yes.
Haywood, Antunzi, yes. Santana,
Yes.
Acosta, Santiago,
Yes.
Crespo,
Yes.
Ortiz,
Yes.
Nicola,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
Ariana,
Yes.
Winter,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Hamilton, Marchand,
Yes.
Rakeem,
Yes.
Furlow,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wingate,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes. Is there anyone who has a vote wishing to vote? Is there anyone who has a vote wishing to change their vote? Seeing none, item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under miscellaneous, I move item number 33, motion to discharge from the chair of the Aldermanic Affairs Committee, submitting motion to discharge the Aldermanic of consideration of the following item submitted on November 15, 2021, and taken up for immediate action.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion on a motion to discharge only. I call on order for Ward 13.
Thank you, Madam President. The item was submitted to the Board of Alders on November 15th. The 30 days allowed by charter does not give the board enough time to second reading. From the Automatic Affairs Committee, so that we can vote on that tonight.
Any further discussion on a motion to discharge only? I call on order from Ward 27.
My apologies, Madam President, to break the protocol, but I should have continued to read the order of the board of Alders County appointment of Regina Rush Kittle as Chief Administrative Officer. Thank you.
Do you need a second round?
Excuse me?
Second.
No, it's okay. No, you don't have to second. He just clarified the rest of what he was reading. Okay, so all in favor of giving this item, motion to discharge, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The items have been discharged. Mr. Majority Leader.
I move the item, Madam President.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion. I call on order for Ward 13.
Thank you, Madam President. On Monday, November 22nd, Ms. Regina Rush Kittle for appointment of Chief Administrative Officer. Ms. Kittle, Ms. Rush Kittle appeared before the Automatic Affairs Committee and discussed her various experience and willingness to serve the city. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? I call on order for Ward 1.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of this item. In our Aldermanic Affairs Committee meeting 2 weeks ago, Ms. Regina Rush Kittle showed that she has had a wide range of impressive experiences and roles in public safety leadership across our state, and I think she will be an asset to the city of New Haven in this position. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move item 34. Motion to discharge. From the Chair of the Automatic Affairs Committee, submitting a motion to discharge from the Automatic Affairs Committee from consideration of the following items submitted on November 13, 2021, and taken up for immediate action. Order the board orders approving the appointment of Renee Dominguez as Chief of Police.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion on motion to discharge only. I call on order from Ward 13.
Thank you, Madam President. Chief Dominguez, Assistant Chief Dominguez, came before us and doesn't allow the 30 days allowed by charter. To give the board enough time to on the appointment, especially request this discharge from the Automatic Affairs Committee, so that we can vote on that filing tonight.
Any further discussion on the motion to discharge only? Seeing none, all in favor of discharging the item, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? The item is discharged. Ms. Majority.
I move the item, Madam President.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion. No discussion? Okay. All in favor? No.
Ward 1.
Excuse me?
Ward 1.
Okay, because these eyes not that good. When I say no discussion, raise them hands high. I call on order from Ward 1.
Thank you, Madam President. The police department in our city is incredibly important. It takes care of our residents and protects our constituents and make sure that everyone in our city is safe and is treated fairly by those who are charged with executing the law in our community. And I believe that we need to see more concrete plans about how we are going to build more trust between the community and our law enforcement, how we're going to increase diversity in our city, how we're going to, in our city police department, how we're going to make sure that we increase the clearance rates, the solve rates for homicides and non-fatal shootings in our community, how we're going to make sure that our police department is trusted by our residents. And because of those reasons, I hope that my colleagues will join me in voting down this nomination tonight. But I hope that we can continue to have more conversations with the community about how we can improve our department with our leadership. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I call on order from Board 13.
And Madam President, Mr. Dominguez appeared before the Organized Affairs Committee in the subdivision for the New Haven Police Department. Mr. Dominguez started out as a patrol officer and has rise through the ranks of the New Haven Police Department. Mr. Dominguez has over 20 years' experience and has served in the capacity of district manager, assistant chief, interim police chief, and support. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? Okay, I call on order from Board 10.
Thank you, Madam President. I wasn't planning on speaking this evening, but I feel I need to. For one, I agree with my colleague from Ward 1 that all eyes need to be on our police department, just like all police departments. I believe that a community process should have taken place regarding this appointment. We also have to keep in mind, this appointment is for 2 months. 2 months is not a long time, and then we have to go through this process once again. I believe that we should give Chief Dominguez an opportunity for the next 2 months, have all eyes on Chief Dominguez, see what type of leadership she surrounds herself with, if it is a reflection of this city. Also, assistant chiefs make you a better chief overall, just like when we're in leadership positions as we are. We count on advice from others, whether it's the community, our colleagues, whomever. I'm torn because in light of also what you read in the media that you have to take with a grain of salt. I'm torn because this decision was just made now for me. I could say yes, I could say no, but what is going to change in the next 2 months? Can we hold our chief accountable? We should be holding our chief accountable anyway. We should be following better processes. We should be following better procedures. But overall, I think 2 months, knowing that all eyes will be on her and her leadership, and we need to put some pressure on this department, but I think we need to give that opportunity now. Otherwise, we're coming back anyway. And again, this was not easy because we're looking at 25 homicides, 25 in the city of New Haven. I don't care what's going on nationwide. I care what's happening here in my city. Today was an example, and I can speak on this because I'm the mom of 2 high school students that were affected today. And when I saw the faces of the parents and the students at the school my kids go to, and the comfort that the police department gave those parents and those students was impressive to me. And sometimes we focus too much on the negative and not on the positive. I personally want to thank them, and I'm sorry if I'm taking up the wrong time to do that. And yes, I'm a little emotional because it scared me, just as it scared other parents and colleagues as well. But I think we need to give our police department a chance, knowing where we on this board stand, where we on this board expect big things. We expect these murders to be solved. We expect these murders and the families to have some form of satisfaction. So with that in mind, I'm going to be in favor of this. I don't know, I'm not going to try and encourage my colleagues to agree with me. I hope they did listen to what I have to say. But with that in mind, I will support this appointment for the 2 months remaining of this contract, which was from 2 previous chiefs. which is another discussion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I will now call on Kyle from Ward 21.
Thank you, Madam President. I first want to acknowledge and respect the concerns that my colleague from Ward 1 raised. I think that they are deeply important and legitimate concerns. And I think every member of this board shares those concerns, particularly around fairness, diversity, and representation. At the same time, I am in agreement with my colleague from Ward 10 that the most sensible approach is to give Chief Dominguez, who was a district manager in Hallville when I became an alder roughly 4 years ago, and continue to be a district manager serving other neighborhoods in the city. And I say that because I think in some ways, right or wrong, good or bad, this has become a referendum on the many issues of the department. And I don't think it's entirely fair to hold her accountable for those, given that she's only been the acting chief for such a long period of time. I think if you look at the things that she has done, we have a recruit class that is more diverse than previous recruit classes while I have been an alder. And I think that is important to recognize because the issues in the department stem in part from the fact that the police were without a contract for 3 years. We saw a year-over-year exoduses of 50 or 60 officers, which leaves us short almost 100 officers from what's budgeted. And during this time period, the recruitment classes were not reflective of the city, which is an extremely important thing. So I think that recruit class and further recruitment with greater frequency and greater diversity can help rebuild the department from the bottom up. And I think that in the next 2 months, we can give the chief who served the city for virtually her whole career honorably a chance to demonstrate her commitment to our concerns around the issues that my colleagues have raised. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? I call on, who got their hand raised? I call on order from, hold on, I don't see no hands, what? Yeah, I call on. Okay, I call on order from Ward 27. You gotta help me out tonight. No, my eyes is not that good.
Thank you, Madam President. Mine either. For years, for 10 years, Board of Alders has been pushing for diversity. It's part of our legislative agenda. That pertains to policy. Not just diversity of the upper ranks of the police department, but diversity for our city. Look behind you. We need assistant chiefs that look like us. We pushed for it in the Board of Ed, diversity among teachers. Why not the police department? We tell our alders many times to not fight the process, but look at the big picture. That's what I'm asking all to get tonight. We may not agree with the process of what leadership has laid before you, but I'm asking to look at the big picture. We need a plan to solve open and cold cases. We haven't heard that yet. We need a plan or a strategy to help our new recruits, as was mentioned, to be trained to deal with the diversity and the dynamics of our great city. We haven't heard it yet. I see 4 or 5 police officers at times, stopping one black man. This has to change. I'm asking that when the president makes the call for yay or nay, that you will give a resounding nay to this appointment until we are able to give the answers that are so deep a concern, not just for this board, but for the community that we represent. Thank you, Madam President.
I will now call on order from Ward 25.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in opposition to the motion approving the appointment of Renee Dominguez as Chief of Police for the few weeks remaining in the current unexpired term. I first met Acting Chief Dominguez when she was appointed District Manager for West Hills. I thought she was a breath of fresh air, and I found her very responsive. Since she left District 2 for other assignments, I watched her work from afar. She has indeed grown as a public safety leader, and I respect her a great deal. What's before us tonight, however, is not a referendum on her fitness as an officer, but on her readiness to lead this department at this moment in this city. I would like to be persuaded that she has a vision and a plan for policing in the young city that will meet the challenges we face. But I haven't heard enough just yet to be convinced. I urge my colleagues to join me in voting no at this time, but being open to continuing this conversation in the weeks ahead. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? I call on order from Ward 19.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today to speak to everyone here, especially my colleagues. I will be voting no on the appointment, and it's not based on colorism. We do need diversity. Our city is diverse. Our world is diverse. I have dealt with, Acting Chief Dominguez when she was my district manager. I loved her as my district manager. I love her as a person. My issue tonight is just, I really feel when the appointment was made, a plan should have been presented. Not a concrete plan, because as we know, things change and we can't predict the future, but I'm a process and procedural person, so I really just needed to see something. So based on that, I'll be voting no tonight. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Nay. The item does not pass. Oh, any abstention? I see, so noted, I see one abstention. Yep. The item fails, Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam President. I move item 35A, motion to amend matters previously adopted. A, from overflow, submitting a motion to amend section 21-29 of the Code of General Ordinances adopted on 1999, to simply update the wording so that the language reflects the process by amending the section as follows, deleting the words first readings and substituting the following correct words second readings in their place, and deleting the words section 41 and substituting the following correct words article 4 section 3B in their place.
Second.
The item has been moved in second. Discussion. I call on order from Ward 21.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to encourage my colleagues to support this motion to amend matters previously adopted. It will clarify that items which are certified as emergencies by the mayor can skip the normal committee process and move directly to second reading. Thank you, Madam President.
Any further discussion? I call on order from Ward 7.
Thank you, Madam President. I also support this amendment. I've expressed concerns at past meetings about city acquisitions and dispositions of property through the LCI process suddenly being on our agenda without the normal process of the committee hearing and first and second reading. I'm grateful that my colleague from March 21 for asking why this fast track process was allowed to happen, which ultimately pointed to the section that's being revised now. Technically, we had ignored the fact that it was calling for a first reading, that will now be corrected. And it also will emphasize that this fast track provision only applies if the mayor has says that there's an emergency and it's necessary to do that. So I think this change is positive, because in those cases where it is necessary, it will happen, but in most cases where it's not an emergency to buy or sell property, this board will have the opportunity for a thoughtful process and of a committee hearing, there'll be more public input, so I think that's positive. I encourage my colleagues to support it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move item 35G from Alderman Rasmussen and going to amend LM-2021-0344. In order the Board of Alders previously adopted on September 9, 2021, forgiving the interest due from Vicky Wiggins on a motor vehicle tax account numbers 688560 and 706816, and to extend the period of paying the taxes to February 1, 2022.
Second.
The item has been moved in second discussion. I call on order for Ward 16.
Thank you, Madam President. I just would like to request this body to give this constituent an additional time to pay the taxes. This is just the first time she's asking for an extension, and I think it's reasonable, so I would encourage this body to give her. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend section 24-1-A of the rules of the Board of Alders to conduct their business.
Second.
The item has been moved in second discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under unanimous consent, I ask you to see an item number 36, order concerning real property taxes of Lola Santiago Martinez on motor vehicle tax accounts 93890, 93889, 97910, and 98470.
Is there anyone going to deny unanimous consent? Seeing none, Mr. Majority Leader.
I move the item, Madam President.
Second.
The item has been moved in second discussion. I call on order from Ward 16.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Santiago Martinez has made payments for what she thought were current taxes of her vehicle. The tax collector office had an opportunity to move those payments to older accounts to include the interest due. And so this old account is now $0. And because this interest would be forgiven, the $797.41 of interest payments were sent to the 2013 bill. To adjust for those incorrectly billed interest payments, this amount has been credited towards other open tax bills that she owes by forgiving the taxes on accounts number 93889 and reducing the taxes on account number 97910 to $25.01. And we ask that this body supports these changes. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes majority leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to close discussion about 7.4.
Second.
The item has been moved in second discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The item passed. We are now closed. And before I take points of personal privilege, I'm gonna ask everyone to please keep our city town clerk in your prayers. And if you have a minute, just reach out just to see how we're doing. I think it's important to let him know that we're thinking about him, he's in our thoughts and we care about him. I also would like to, and I'll do it again when Alder Santiago's back. So I would also like us to stand for a moment of silence for Alder from Ward 26 is father that passed away. That is hard. And it means a lot to just have your colleagues calling and checking. That midnight hour get dark when nobody else is around and everybody done left the funeral and you're in your own thoughts and in your own head. So I think it's just important. You don't, sometimes people don't even want to talk, but shoot a text. Just let people know that you're thinking about them because you never know, that might change your day. Depression is real, especially when you lose people. So I just would like for everybody to really keep that in mind. It's okay to let somebody know that you really care about them, because I believe we all care about each other. And now I will take points of personal privilege. I will call on my colleague from Ward 16.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to everyone to just please stand for a moment of silence. In the last couple of days, I've received multiple texts from constituents losing a father, losing a mother, and that continues to happen. As a matter of fact, I'm actually heading to a wake service, and just for a moment of silence for the constituents, not just in Fairhaven, but overall throughout the city. And just like the president stated, reach out to one another and just say, listen, we're thinking of you, and my prayers to you and your family. And at this time, if we could just hold a moment of silence. Thank you.
I will now call a colleague from Ward 26.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to take a moment opportunity to thank all my colleagues, community. It's just been really overwhelming. Never did I think that I'd be in this situation at this moment. You just never know. So first thing I'll say is just for the community, be ready. Ensure you have life insurance ready and set. Make sure things in order because you literally do not know what can happen. It was just a shock surprise. I just want to thank everybody for that. And now I'm going to carry my dad's message. He sold life insurance. So I'm going to take that on and just kind of make sure we spread that message in particular to the communities of color. Often you see this lady saying a lot of the fun, all that, we can be prepared. There's ways to do that. Any constituency, wherever you are, you have questions or concerns about that process, I'm not licensed to give it, I can give you information. The information is out there, so I just want to carry the torch to everybody's named life insurance man, so I just want to carry on and see, ensure that everyone's prepared. Just be prepared for yourself. Emails been sent, calls been sent, text messages are great. But I haven't responded, just please understand I'm on this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep, we will charge it to your head, not your heart, because we know it's hard sometimes to respond to everybody when you get so many calls and so many texts, and I know what that midnight hour is like. So I make sure I'm doing everything I can to support everyone. Are there any more personal privilege? I call on order for Ward 22.
30.
Thank you, Madam President. I stand, last month, as we all know, our kiosk building was built. We had this great celebration, and unfortunately, there were problems at the kiosk building. Someone, I always say, hurt people. And unfortunately, someone, vandalized, thank you. Vandalized the kiosk. And when I heard that, I was shocked, sad, embarrassed, hurt, and the whole nine. But that's not the story. The story is about how we are our brother's keeper. The story is about, even though that happened on a Sunday afternoon during football, that our community came together. And I want to call out two particular names, Mr. Jeffrey Brunson and Mr. Buddy George mentioned. Because when they saw the vandalism on that building, instead of waiting and seeing if someone else was going to take care of it or the city was going to take care of it, Mr. Brunson, he grew up in New Haven, but he lives in Hampton. he came down to New Haven because he was just there a week ago. He's a circus fan. And those of you who were at the Q House opening probably saw him because he had all of his everything. He was very, very proud. And when he came to the Q House and saw the vandalism, instead of saying, well, this is not my problem, he utilized his skill set, went to Home Depot, got whatever solution he needed. He began to clean, him and his cousin. And they cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. And by the time the city was made aware that there was an issue and they had to send someone down to clean, there was nothing to clean. And so I just stand here and thank Mr. Jeffrey Brunson and his cousin Bud George Mention for being our brother's keeper. Because that's what we have to do. We can't always just sit around and wait for someone else to do it. If you see something, say something. If you see something, do something about it. And so I just wanted to make sure that it's on the record that Mr. Brunson and George mentioned, buddy, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I thank the community because that thing went on Facebook and every other social media like wildfire. So the vandalism wasn't there long, but I just wanted to stand up and thank the community for being our brother's keeper. Thank you, Madam President.
I will now call on order from Ward 30.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam President. I just want to echo my colleague from the 26th Ward in regards to insurance, life insurance, and let my colleagues know that we are offering life insurance agent will be at 333 Valley Street. So if your residents want to come over to 333 Valley Street, there will be someone there all the time. Alder Furlai, Alder Brackeen, and Alder Mershon working on this project. Also, we want to introduce to you a WellCare benefit in which that we have an agent that will be on site also at all times. If you have seniors in your community, which you all do, from the ages of 65 and up, who is holding a red, white, and blue Medicare card, A, B, and also either a state of Connecticut card or a Husky card, they will qualify. And a part of the way that they qualify, just for signing up, they get $1,000 just for sign up bonus. And they'll be able to reap $250 for medical over-the-counter drugs like aspirins and other things over the counter. If they're disabled, they're able to receive those benefits also. Starting in January, this agent will be there for 2 days out of the week. But right now, you have an opportunity of letting your residents know that they can sign up for this until the 24th in order to get the $1,000 bonus on the first of the year. They can come to 333 Valley Street, and the agent will be there to sign them up for this service. If you need a phone number, if they need to call, the number is 203-691-7169. Thank you.
Are there any more points of personal privilege? I'll call on order from Ward 21.
Thank you, Madam President. I know we're all extremely busy. I know there are many, not all of us are hard workers on the board, and many of our committees do a significant amount of work. The City Plan Commission seems like its meetings go till midnight, and then they sometimes have multiple meetings in one. And I stand in awe of my colleague from the 25th Ward for shouldering that in addition to all of the other burdens as an alder. And I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. Thank you, Madam President.
I call on order from Ward 10.
Thank you, Madam President. Our colleague from Ward 21 is always so generous with his birthday great messages to our colleagues. Well, it was his birthday too. So happy birthday, Steve Winter, Ward 21.
Are there any more points of personal privilege?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Everybody, please, please, please continue to be safe. COVID-19 is still real, it's out there. Make sure you're keeping your hands clean, you're social distancing, and you're wearing your mask in public. And can I please see Mr. Madison at the podium, please?